Good evening, guys, and welcome back to today's tutorial session. So, for today's lab session 4, I'm going to be taking you guys through a very interesting topic called components and variants. And I would urge each and every one of you to pay very close attention to what I'm going to be showing you guys today. Okay, so let's get started. Yeah, so let me briefly explain what components are, okay, just so you can get a fair idea of what it entails. So you can probably think of components as like uh, basically building blocks, okay, that constitutes a whole building. So you see, for every building that probably you see around, it constitutes certain building blocks, or like um, I mean, you would have to combine blocks and stuff like that to build sorry, to actually build a house. Or you can even think of probably I don't know, probably how how you guys grew up, but I'm sure probably when you were kids you used to have like these Lego toys that you used to play with. So you can basically think of components like these Lego blocks. So you can actually arrange the Lego blocks to suit whichever shape that you want. Okay, so you can think of components in that sense as like basically tiny assets that constitute um, to build a holistic, should I say, artifact. Yes. So in the design world, you can think of probably your website or your mobile app. Components are like the basic assets that come together to make up your website or your mobile app. Okay, and then the reason why we create components is that most of the time components are reusable assets in our design files. So when you create a component, you kind of make your designs very consistent across board. So if it's a button you are creating a button of shape, of a particular shape, size, or color, you are going to make it consistent throughout your design. So I'll try my possible best to make today's video as short as possible, just so you guys can probably get a fair understanding of um, how components and variants work. So you can basically think of variants too as probably certain, should I say, different variations of a component. So I'll get into that shortly so that you get a clear understanding. So if not for anything, I wouldn't want you guys to ever forget what I'm going to be teaching you, because I'm going to be using a very basic I'm going to be using basic stuff, okay, to teach you guys, just so you can understand the concepts of component and variant clearly. So I'm sure you can clearly see what I have here. Some of you might argue it's, I mean, these are fruits. Some might say they are vegetables, but for the sake of this course, let's assume they are all fruits, which we know they are. So I'm going to start by showing you guys how to create a component. Okay, so let's say I want to create a component for this fruit, which is obviously a watermelon. I don't know if you disagree, but yeah. So we create components by clicking on this button. So you can see it's been labeled create component. Excuse me, my voice is a little bit I don't know, courtesy, so please bear with me. So we click on this button to create a component. Okay, so instantaneously you can see that we have a purple highlight around our shape, okay, indicating that this is a component. Okay, so this is what we do. So now we duplicate this. Okay, we duplicate this, and now we have an instance of our, should I say, an instance of our shape, or of our fruit, sorry, our watermelon. So look at what is going to happen over here. So whenever I change the color of this fruit to, let's say, yellow, you can see the color changes. If I should change it to black, whatever change I make over here affects the instance of our component. Now if I should change our watermelon to, let's say, a yellow color, you can see whatever changes I'm making here affects this. Now you can have multiple of these, okay, but then whenever I make a change here, okay, you can see it runs across board. If we want a red watermelon, you change the colors, and then if you want even a black watermelon, you can do that. But that is the something little about components. Now let me show you something amazing about variants as well. Now if you want to create variants for this component, you simply click on this button and you can see it says add variant. So I click on this button and now I have a variant. So let's say I want to color so basically a variant is like a different variation of your original component. So let's say I'm tired of having green watermelons and I now want to have probably yellow watermelons, okay. So I come here and then I select yellow, okay. So I go ahead to add a new variant, and let's say I'm tired of yellow watermelons, so I want red watermelons. Now let's say I'm also tired of having red watermelons, so I need, let's say, a purple watermelon. Okay, I think this is purple. So these are different variations of our original component, which is the yellow watermelon, okay. So in order to make your designs, in order to make your designs make sense when someone should probably pick up your design, you see this has been named a property. I prefer to name it as state, okay. So let's name it as state, and let's name this one. So you see we have variant 2, variant 3, and then variant 4. I'm going to name this watermelon yellow, okay, and I'm going to name this watermelon, it's red, right? Okay, and then I'm going to name this watermelon, let's say purple. Great. So now this is the another interesting part to component event, okay. So let's say I create an artboard, okay, and then I go like hello, I am a nice watermelon, okay, and then let me try and adjust the size a little bit. Yeah, so it says I'm a nice watermelon. So now whenever we want to reuse our watermelon in our designs, okay, we go to the assets panel, we click on assets. Now you can see the components I have used in my design, okay. So I'm going to drag this component I've created onto my artboard over there. So I would want to enlarge it a little bit, so I hit K on my keyboard to make it very large. So now you can see that the original state of our watermelon was a green watermelon, right? Now look at the magic that happens now. If we want to, let's say we are tired of having green watermelons over here, okay, so let's say we duplicate this and then you say hello, I am a yellow watermelon, okay. All we have to do, we don't have to come here and change the color, you just have to come down here. A second. Okay, great. So I think I copied the wrong component, so let me drag this and bring it here. Sweet. Yeah, so our original component was a green watermelon. So look at what happens when we want to change the probably the color of our watermelon. You don't necessarily now have to go back to clicking this green button to change your color. All you have to do is to click the drop down and then you select yellow. Now you duplicate your screen. If you want your red watermelon, you say okay, hello, I am a red watermelon. All you have to do is to click here watermelon red. You are tired of red watermelons, now you want a purple watermelon. You can go and say, hi, I am a purple watermelon. All you have to do is click here, and then you click on this drop down. So I hope this gives you like a basic, should I say, understanding of how components are created and how components are used. Okay, so this is our original component, and these are variants of our components. So variants are basically different, they have different states or different properties from our original component. Okay, so in order for you guys to probably grasp a better understanding, I'm going to show you guys how to create a component sets. Okay, so now you can see I have these fruits over here. We have grapes, an apple, a banana, a pineapple, and then a strawberry. So I'm going to select all of them, and then I click on this drop down, and I go to create component set. Okay, now you see instantaneously I've had my first asset in the component set populated over here. Now whenever, let's say I make a new frame, let me duplicate this. Okay, and then I drag my grapes to the artboard. Let me enlarge it a little bit so you can see. Great. Now I would have to name my variants because these are like different types of our main components. I mean, obviously there are different fruits. So this is an apple, this is a banana, this is a pineapple, and then this is a strawberry. So when I come here, I can just click on the drop down, I can select apple. So you see it saves you a lot of time from probably now going to copy an apple, then you come and paste. No, this saves you a ton of time which you can probably invest in doing other things. So you can now select pineapple, you can select strawberries, I mean whichever fruit you prefer. So I do hope that this has probably thrown more light as to how you guys can go about using components and then variants. Okay, now in order for us to apply this in our real world, let me show you a second. So I went online, and then I took a screenshot of a website called Cowrywise. So I'm going to be showing you guys how components were actually used to build such a website. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, when you look at this hero section, okay, you can probably easily identify certain sections that were built with components. For instance, you can clearly tell that the navbar section would have to be a component. Why? Because the navbar section is not going to change often. Okay, so it's like the navbar section is going to remain consistent across almost all the pages that you are going to switch to. So let's say if I click on learn, it's going to take me to a different page, but the navbar section is going to be constant. For things like my buttons, they have to be consistent across board. They have to have the same size, the same colors, the same shadow effects and stuff like that. So in order for me to show you guys, let me quickly demonstrate something over here. Okay, great. Yeah, so a second, let me reduce this. Great. So like I mentioned earlier, this happens to be the website, okay, I'm referring to. Now like I said, when you click on something like learn, you can let me go back. So okay, yeah, so the learn has actually taken me to a different URL, but then let me click on something that will lead me to stay on this page. So let's click on something like plan. Okay, so you can see that when I clicked on plan, everything on the website changed except the navbar section. So when I click on business and I go to Sprout, it takes me to a different URL or like a different section of the page, but my navbar section remains constant. When I click on docs, okay, docs takes you somewhere else. So when you click on something like invest, everything on the website changes except the navbar section. Okay, so we are going to be creating components for this, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that shortly. Now you can also see that for our hero section we have a very pretty lady, or we have an image over here, and you can see that when I click on this, it changes to a different image. When I click on this, it changes to a different image. So this is how you can use components and variants in designing your website. So this is a different variant, this is a different variant, and this is also a different variant, but they can all exist as a single component. So I'm going to show you guys how you can go about doing this, and how you can probably understand components and variants much better after I've designed this. So let's go back to our Figma file, and then we go ahead to create our artboard. So once again, I'm going to go with 1920 by 1080 artboard size. Okay, perfect. So like I taught you guys how to clone websites, you put it side by side. So now you can see that everything on our website, like I said, we are going to have our first component, second component, probably third, and then we make our buttons separately. So I'm going to start by creating our button. So I taught you guys how to create buttons. It's not so much of a big deal. So the first button we are going to create is probably the sign up for free button. Okay, so we go ahead and then we do that. So you hit T on your keyboard, and then you type sign up for free. Now in order for us to get an accurate representation of our text, give me a second. Yeah, so I'll use the hot fonts plugin to inspect. Okay, the font size, so we have 16. Okay, so 16 throughout. Okay, great. So let me exit this. Let me download this. So you see I'm utilizing the plugins. I have to get the assets. I want the logo. So let me download this, and then I think I'll need this. So I'm not getting the logo with this plugin, so let me try this. Okay, so I think these guys are very smart. They didn't embed, they didn't use an image for their logo, so I'll just get it online. Cowboys logo PNG. So I come here, copy image, come back to Figma, and I paste it where I need it. Okay, so I won't need it now. So the size of our text was 16 pixels. So you can see it's very small, so you just have to zoom in. Now I create a frame around it. I give it a fill color, then I want the exact blue they used. Okay, so I come here, click on this, eyedropper 2, and then I make this. Okay, perfect. So now they've rounded their corners, so I'm going to do same 8. I think 8 is too much, so 6. I'm going to give it some vertical and horizontal padding, so I'm going to go with something like 20. I'm going to go with probably 15. Yeah, so you see I've created my frame. So let me just rename this and say sign up button. Okay, so like I taught you guys with the fruits, okay, we are going to create a component. So we create a component, and then you can see our component has been created. We now create a variant. Okay, now we can see we have a login button. So for our login, the background is rather our background is white. So let's see, our background is white, and then our text is rather blue. Okay, and then we can have probably start investing. So let's create another one, and then let's type start investing. Great, so let me name this. So for the properties, like I said, I mean there's nothing wrong with leaving it as properties, but I always prefer to name it as state. Okay, so state, and then this is our default. Now these are variants, so I'm going to name this login. Okay, and then I'm going to just name this investing. Okay, perfect. So I think those are the buttons we need, and yeah, so I think we're also going to need these. Okay, so one thing, you can always be smart about this, because like I said, when you realize that we have a text, we have an icon, you don't necessarily have to type a text and then insert an icon, type a text. You can just create one, create a component for it, and then duplicate it across board. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that shortly. So we type our text, it says personal. Okay, we create an auto layout for it, a frame. Now I want to get the exact color, so I'm going to zoom in, and then I'll pick the color. Great. Now we all know how to insert icons by now. If you don't know, I'm sorry for you. So I think this is not bold, this is regular. So now we are going to insert a drop down from Iconify. Click on the drop down, you import it. Great. So we have personal, so you can see the drop down icon is located at the right side, so we just bring it here, and then we are good to go. So now we create a component out of this, so let's just name it nav text. Okay, we create a component out of this, and then we can now create variants, but I mean I wouldn't advise it, because once you get the personal, you can just duplicate it, and then you have businesses and then others. Now you can realize that one thing that I mean you can quickly spot is that all of these have icons, but this one does not have an icon. So I'm going to add a variant. Okay, and then I'm going to select this. Watch closely over here. I'm going to select this icon over here. Okay, and then I'm going to click on this. Now let me just do this. Let me just name it drop down. Okay, so we have different values over here. So we have a true and a false, basically boolean options. So what I'm trying to tell Figma is that, okay, with the drop down icon I've selected, I mean it's showing, so it's true. So let me just create a property. So now whenever I duplicate this anywhere else, I can decide to turn the drop down on, okay, or I can decide to turn it off. So in our case like this, so I wouldn't even have to create a new variant, just the first component you've created is fine. So now I'm going to go ahead to create my navbar. So once again, I come here, I create a frame. I'm trying to work as fast as possible. So I create a frame, and then a second, I create a frame again. I mean for my logo. So I come see and I paste it in. I resize it. So I don't know if you guys realize, but I mean, if it was an online call, I would have probably awarded marks to whoever would have gotten the answer right. But I missed a step, and I don't know if you are watching the video. I would want you to recognize something I missed before I started designing. So I mean, you can probably start thinking about it now, and then I'll. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to hold you accountable for it, but yeah, I mean, if you clearly pay attention in class, I'm sure you know. So I think what I missed was that I didn't create a grid layout for my design. So I quickly have to do that now. Let me, just so that I know I'm designing in frame and then my designs are consistent. So for this, I think, judging with my eyes, I'm going to say they have a margin of probably 130 or even more. So let's say something like 150. Yeah, no, let's go 170. Okay, now actually 150 is fine. Great. So we have a margin of 150. So my frame has been created. Now you go to your assets panel once again. Now you can see I have a couple of texts. So there's personal, business, there's developer, and then there's learn. So now I'm going to simply drag and drop from my assets panel into my file. So I center align it. So the first one was personal, right? We have business, developer, and then learn. So I quickly duplicate them. So we have business, developer, and then learn. So you type them business, developer, sorry for the typo, and then we have learn. Great. Like I mentioned earlier, one thing stands out, and that is that the learn does not have a drop down icon. So all I have to do now, because I've already defined my properties over here, all I have to do is to click on the learn text or the learn frame, and I'll just turn off the drop down. You see, so let me select these and then place them in an auto layout, so I have equal spacing amongst my elements. So that is one cheat code for auto layouts. You can easily have equal spacing for your elements. So now I go to my login and then I go to my sign up for free. Now initially, I know someone will now have to probably go and create a rectangle, then you're not going to type login. No, because you were probably proactive enough to create components earlier, all you have to do now is to go back to your assets panel. So let me turn on my grid, and then you drag the button you created, I mean the component you created earlier, drop it in your frame. Let's center align it. So now I send it to the very last, sorry, yeah, so I make it align in frame over here, and then the other button you have is what, a login button. Now okay, so this is the cool thing. So let's see now, I don't want to say sign up for free, and then I want to do something like buy kinky for me. So you can see the buy kinky for me has changed over here. Okay, so it's like you can make design changes over here, and then it affects whichever component, whichever instance you have over here, just like I did with the watermelon and stuff like that. So sign up for free. Now you can see that probably I had made a typo, because the first text, the first words of every every word, the first letters of every word were capitalized, but I didn't do so. So now I don't have to now go and imagine if I had a million pages. Okay, I'll now have to probably enter every button and then do the changes. Oh, capital U, capital F. No, because you've created components, the good thing about components, all you have to do is to change it over here. So I have a capital U, I correct that, I have a capital F, I have a capital F. You see, so sign up for free. Now when I come back, you can see sign up for free has been changed. When I go to the ones I created, sign up for free has now, it has reflected across board. So that is another cheat code for using components. Now we have a login button over here. Okay, so all I have to do now, I don't have to create a login button anymore. I have already done that. I just duplicate this, I come here, I click on the drop down, and then I click on login. Probably some of you might be exclaiming, thinking it's magic, but no, we're just being proactive to create our components and variants. So once again, I turn on my grid, then I check. So yeah, it's aligned. So we have our login created. So you can see basically we are almost making headways over here. So I can preview my design. A second, let me fit to screen. Yeah, and then you can see we are slowly but surely getting to where we are. Okay, so once again, like I said, this can be a whole component on its own. So now I'm going to create it on my artboard and then later on convert it to a component so that you can get a clear understanding. I'm trying to finish everything under an hour just so you guys can get it. Okay, so let's do that shortly. So I'm going to create this section we have over here, the images. So let me turn on my grid. You can see we have some nice, shape at the background. I create that, I fill it with this. Great, you can see we have another frame. So I fill the frame. So, nope, it should extend to somewhere here. Reduce the height. So yeah, so you can just turn off your grid layout to find out whether you are making headways. So I think I downloaded this image, so let me go ahead and then get started for you. So downloads, where are you? That's strange. So give me a second, let me try and locate the files I just downloaded. There's one, there's two, there's three. Okay, sure. So I can go here, go to recent. So let me copy the first image. So I click on my frame and then I paste the image in it. So I resize it so I have what these guys also have. Essentially, yeah. So something of this sort is fine. And then you can see they have another frame. This is stressful. So you can see they have another frame over here. So a second, let me see. Okay. So let me just create a new frame. This sort, the fill. Now in fact, let me just do the right thing so you guys don't call rewise. Oh, copy the text. Should now be 14 or something. Let me check with the hot fonts plugin. Okay, it's 14 pixels, so we're right. Probably regular. Let's increase this a little bit. Yeah. So I mean, you get the picture. I'm not going to do all the details. You get the picture. So let me reduce this. Okay. Then place it somewhere here. Yeah. I think we are good to go. Center. Perfect. Now I think you can see we have these these buttons over here to switch tabs, so I'm going to do that shortly. Let me extend this. You create a frame of equal size, we fill it, align them so there are 3, so 1, 2, 3. Great. So we go back to our finder. Our first was this one. Just fit into this. Resize here. Yeah. And then we have our other pretty friends. Resize once again. Perfect. Now to this guy. Resize. Okay. Perfect. Now you can see they were they are all these two are in black and white, indicating that they are inactive. So you can quickly do that in Figma. I don't think I even planned for this, but you can just do it over here. Reduce saturation, contrast, probably exposure should go down. I don't know. Contrast should go up. Highlights down. Yeah. So basically, I'm just editing. I'm sure a lot of you are pros in Photoshop, so do this saturation, exposure, highlights. Contrast should actually go up. Yeah. So now we are nearing closer to our design. You can preview it over here. Let me fit to screen. Great. So we have these over here. So like I said, I was going to show you guys how you can make this a component. So I'm holding shift and then I'm selecting all of these elements. Okay. All of 1, 3, and then this. So I will group them. I'm trying to move them in scene. Great. So you see when I move them now, they are all like moving as a bunch or like as a group. So now I'm going to make this into a component. Okay, so watch what I do. So I'll drag it out quickly. Now there's a keyboard shortcut for creating components. you can find that out, but on my PC it's command option and then K. Okay, so once I'm done, I create a variant. So now, second, just so you don't stress, now you create one variant and then you can create another variant. Now when you go to our real website, when you click on this, sorry, let me exit. Yeah, when you click on this, it takes you to a different image with probably a different background color. You click on this guy, it gives you. So now you don't have to do those things individually anymore. You can just come and replace this image over here with this woman, and then you can tell that she had a light green background, something of this sort. You can just do that, and then our guy over here had a blue. So we come here, then we paste our guy over here. So that's our smiling guy. Now we also adjust his background color to something bluish. So we can actually pick it from his shirt, and then say something like this. So like I said, probably now we don't want to say hello, I am a nice watermelon. We can say hello, I am a nice guy. Okay, now when we go to our assets panel, okay, we just have to drag and drop this over here, this asset over here. Now let me name this so once again, the properties, you can leave it as it is, but I prefer to make it state just so I can understand. So these are defaults. Now we have probably I don't want to name here, but probably smiling woman scene. I don't. Okay, yeah, smiling woman, and then probably green. Okay, and then this I'll name it smiling guy blue. Sure. So when I click on this component, let's say, let me delete this fruit. Okay, so I mean, judging from probably your previous workflow, whenever you have like, let's say, 3 more screens to design, probably after you design this, you now have to come in, redesign this one again, and then all that. Now all you have to do is to click on this, click on the drop down, then go to smiling woman green. You click on this guy, smiling guy blue. Now you can use this as many times as you want. If it's 1,000 times you want to use them, you can feel free. Just keep changing. So this is like how powerful components and variants can be, okay, in your designs. So now we come back and then we bring our girl over here. So we quickly align her back to where she belongs. And yeah, so I'm trying to ignore certain minute details so that the class can go on. So you can see that when this one is active, all the other ones are grayed out, but you guys get the picture. So I don't have to stress much. So yeah, essentially, so we have this now, and let me turn off this. So we proceed to do our text. So it says put your money to work. So just type put your money to work. So put your money, hit K on your keyboard, you scale, don't forget that. So okay, so this is Montserrat. I'm going to go with Poppins since it looks a little bit like Poppins. I'm going to go with bold, probably extra bold, it's just bold, actually semi bold. Yeah, so I scale it, put your money to work. Reduce the line height because it was reduced. Now I want to get the exact color that was used, so click on this, I pick the color over here. So put your money to work, and then it says invest wisely and then grow wealth. Okay, so it says invest wisely, full stop, grow wealth. Now once again we can come back here, check the font size. This is 100, this is 48. Go back to your Figma file. This is 100 actually, 100. This is 48. Okay, so invest wisely happens to be probably regular, yeah, but has same color as this. If I let me do light, so I select these two, auto layout, invest wisely, grow wealth. Now, like I said, I don't know if you remember, but we made provision for this button of ours, okay, which says start investing. And because we've already created it in our as a component, all we have to do now, we don't have to create any new button. We have to just drag it over here, and then we had already made provisions for that was start investing. So it says sign up for free. You can just click on the drop down. Remember, we created for login, then we did for investing. So start investing, we have our button ready. We don't have to go in design any button anymore. You can see we have your email. I want to show you something. So you see for the email section, let me click on for the email section. When you click on in the text field, you can see the state changes. Okay, so for this, you may want to probably create a component for this. It's actually advisable you create a component for this. So we go back to our Figma design file, and then we come here. It says what's your email. Yeah, your email. No, this is giving me. Okay, so your email, it was probably a medium. So I'm going to give it an auto layout, and then you can tell. So let's try and get it accurately. So for your email, something like this. Now we increase the text field to match. Let's try and get the height and then the width equally. Okay, yeah, so we have your email. You can paste it in our file. No, not you. So this frame, actually, you know what, let's make it a component before we paste it. So your email, let's just name the frame once again, your email. Now click on this to create a component, click on this to create a variant. Now, like I said, when you click on this, you see it changes a state. So this your email, it has 3 dots, 3. It has rounded corners, so let's give something like 6. So because we want it to change, we are going to erase this, not completely, but we are just going to add like a line inside over here, just to show that the field is active. Okay, so you click on this, it says your email, so you can see the outline of our text field changes. So our text field has an outline, so you just add a stroke over here, add a stroke over here. So when you add a stroke, it was pretty faint, so you give it the same color. I can copy this, apply the same thing to this. Perfect. Then you can see for this one, I think the outline was bluish, so go with blue. Let me increase it so it becomes evident. So to something like probably 3. Give this outside. Yeah. Then let me change the color of our this thing to blue, just so you can know it's active. So we can just name, so this once again, where is it, yeah. So like I said, name the property. It can be whatever you prefer, state or property, but I prefer state. So this is our default, and then this I'm going to name active. Okay, so when I come back to my, so you can switch, so you have the layers panel where you can see your layers, and then you can switch to assets. So when I go to assets, I just click on this and then I drag it over here. Okay, so I align it and then I am good to go. So you say start investing. So you can see the height of my button is 50, and then for some reason the height of this was 48. So if I want to make adjustments, I just go back to my master component over here and I give it a height of 50. I give this a height of 50. Okay, so now we can align them to layouts. We check whether we are on track. So we say start investing. Okay, send it up a little bit. You can even select these two auto layout. Let's bring it here. Yeah, so I think basically we've been able to build a, should I say, hero section using components. So now look at the fun part. In a case where we now have to duplicate our assets, in a case where we now have to duplicate our screens, okay, multiple times, we don't have to go through the stress of redesigning our components again and again and again. Now I can just come here, click on this drop down, smiley woman green, can go here, click on this smiling guy blue. So you see, if you want to do it 1,000 times, feel free if you have the time. And then you can see that now we can actually change the state of our email. So let's say I'm prototyping, right, and then I click on this email, this field section. I can just click on this and go to active. So you can see the state has now changed to an active text field. Okay, just like how we have over here, right? So these are some of the benefits of using components and variants. I actually do hope you guys have learned a lot from this pretty short tutorial, I think, and that you start using components and variants in your designs. So when you come here, don't forget our fruits. You can change it to any shape you want. If it's a banana, you can go to watermelon yellow, watermelon red, duplicates, watermelon purple. So basically explaining the concept of variants and then the concept of components. I really do hope you've learned a lot from this tutorial, and yeah, if you have any questions we can have that discussion in class. But yeah, I'll urge each and every one of you to actually use components in your designs. Actually, one more thing I forgot was to make this whole header section a component. So let me create this and fill this. So let me create this as a component, copy, come and replace. Let me do the replacements here. Great. So now in a case where I say okay, I now want to send my logo to the right side because that's what the client wants. You see, if I had 1,000 screens, okay, let me just do it for you to see. If I had 1,000 screens, now let me bring all of them here. Imagine the stress I would have gone through if I had wanted to change all of them at once. Okay, now imagine a scenario where the client comes in and it's like, yo, designer, I actually don't like the colors you used in my project. So I want you to change all the blues you have, all the blue now. Green is my favorite color. All you have to do now is to just select the green, and then it appears for all the screens. If the next day it comes and it says you want a yellow, click on yellow. If you want a red, click on red, and it applies to almost every section of your design. So basically, creating components as a designer is for your own good. I don't know if you get it, but you're actually doing yourself a huge favor by creating components when you design. So yeah, I think that is that for today's class. A second, yeah. So we've been able to touch on components. We've been able to clearly elaborate what components are and what variants are, how to create components, how to utilize them, and etc. Now for your assignment, okay. So it's very critical you guys watch the video up to this part, because for your assignment you are going to be at the end of this course, that is DCIT 302. I would want each and every one of you to publish your case studies on LinkedIn. I don't know if you guys already have LinkedIn accounts, but yeah, for assignment I'm going to drop it probably on your class platform. But each and every one of you, so today is a Thursday, so each and every one of you have 1 week, okay, 1 week to create a LinkedIn account. If you don't know how to create a LinkedIn account, go and watch a YouTube video on how to create a LinkedIn account. Now, like I said, we are not only undertaking this course to score an A. I really want this skill to be a part and a parcel of you, and for some of you, actually take it on as a career which you would want to delve into. So, second, so you can just go to LinkedIn. Also, I think I'll send my LinkedIn probably profile to the class page so you guys can follow me. So this is my LinkedIn page, okay. So basically what LinkedIn helps you is that it helps you to connect with a lot of probably million other designers globally, or even million other investors. So it's like a platform where you can showcase what you are made of, or you can showcase what you are about, okay. So it's a site for professionals. So as upcoming designers or as upcoming developers or whatever your profession is, it will be good for you to market yourself very well or brand yourself very well on LinkedIn. Okay, so yeah, so I want everyone to create a LinkedIn account. You just basically have to have your name. If you've had certain internships in the past or certain work experiences, you list all of them over here, and then you are good to go. So yeah, that is your assignment for the week. So I would actually check this in your Figma files. So when you come to Figma, okay, in your Figma files, all you have to do is probably just create a new page, and then you go like linked in assignment, create a frame. It can be 1080 by 1080p. Let me do that shortly. So 1080 by 1080p. Now what you do is that you come back to your LinkedIn account. You can copy a URL to your profile, okay, and then second, so just type something like LinkedIn assignments, okay, and then you embed a link inside of this. You can find a much more presentable way to do that. So when you click on enter, whenever I come to your Figma file and then I hover, so LinkedIn assignments, this page, when I click on your on that link, it takes me straight to your profile, and then you get graded on Sakai just for creating a LinkedIn account. So you've got 1 week to create a LinkedIn account and paste your URL on a different page. So you just name it LinkedIn assignment, create a URL, create a text, and then embed it over here. So yeah, I think that, so when you come, I think there are lots of people you can follow. You can actually follow, say on this platform, sorry, friends. Yes, so you can see says nice faces, experience, and the things he is into. So you can just hit the follow button and then you follow. Say there's Divine. I mean, yeah, I'm giving shout out to the squad. There's Divine as well. You can come and then you follow him. So yeah, I mean, basically that is that. So you go and then you create LinkedIn accounts and submit the URLs in your Figma files, and then you get graded on Sakai. So I think without any further things to say or do, I have to end the class. And thank you very much for watching the video up to this and up to this section. And thumbs up, and keep practicing to becoming a senior UI/UX designer someday. Take care and have a wonderful day or evening. Depends on the time you watch the video. Yeah, bye.